Hi guys, so today we're going to talk about area of a parallelogram and area of a rectangle. Now, you know area of a rectangle from middle school, where it's just your ordinary base times your height. So to find area of any rectangle, it's just the base times the height, or height times base, doesn't matter the order. Now, for a parallelogram, it almost looks like a rectangle, but it's slanted. So if you take the two sides of a parallelogram and you move one to the other, what kind of shape do we get? That's right, just a rectangle. So one thing we have to keep in mind though, when we talk about height of a parallelogram, we don't talk about height being slanted. We never measure that. However, we do measure the height perpendicular, that means 90 degrees, from one base to the other base. And so really, we see that area of a parallelogram is also just base times height, or height times base. The order, again, does not matter because we're multiplying. And so we can see that for both a parallelogram and a rectangle, no matter if we're talking about a rectangle, it's just your ordinary base times your height. For a parallelogram, remember, the height has to be perpendicular to both bases. And so for both of these two shapes, the area is just base times height. So now we're going to take a look at a problem. And in this particular problem, we're given two dimensions. Well, really, it looks like three, but it's really two. We are given the height of the parallelogram, and we know it's the height because we see that it's perpendicular to both bases. Now, if we look at the base, it's given us in two dimensions, 8 feet and 10 feet. But really, if we put them all together, we get the total base of our parallelogram. And the base, we add them together to give us a base of 18. So we have both the base and the height. The only thing to do to find the area of this parallelogram is we're going to substitute it into the formula base times height, where B is the base of 18, H is the height of 16. And so we multiply those together and we get a total area of 288 units. Now in here, we're talking about feet. So it's gonna, because we are talking about area, it's gonna be feet squared. All right, so now we're gonna take a look at another problem. Now it's another problem dealing with parallelogram, but this time it's a little bit different. It's different in the fact that now instead of us finding the area, they're giving us the area and they're asking us to find the height. So if we really think about it, we know two things. Well, we're looking for the height and we know the area, and then we also know the base. And so to solve the problem, we're still going to refer back to the formula area is equal to base times height, where the only unknown is height. So that's what we're going to solve for. So we start with the formula area is equal to base times height, and we're going to substitute in what we know. We know area, we know base. And so those are the two things that we're going to substitute. So when we do for area, we put in 192 equals to B represents the base, which is 24, and the height is what we're looking for, so we're going to leave it as H. And so what we need to do here is we got to get H by itself. So to do that, because 24 and H are multiplying, I want to do the reciprocal. Or in other words, I want to cancel 24. And so I'm going to divide both sides by 24. Now, when I divide by 24 on the right side, the 24 in the numerator and the 24 in the denominator cancel out. And I'm going to get H by itself. And on the left side, all I got to do is figure out what is 192 divided by 24, which is 8. And we can't forget our units, which is inches. Now, it's not squared because we're not talking about area. We're just talking about one dimension. So it's just inches.